We've all seen famous people like iJustine, John Rettinger, and even Kim Kardashian post about this new ultra sleep tech, the Oura ring, but they're all sponsored. In this video, I'm going to show you how I've worn this Oura ring for 1,000 nights, how it's changed my life, and why I don't think you should buy one. Now there's two things I want to get out of the way first. All wearables are wrong, but some can be helpful. Yes, this is pretty good at measuring your sleep and understanding your REM and your deep sleep, and at the same time, you need to be mindful not to overanalyze the analytics. Second, ortho insomnia. This is a real thing. When I first got the Oura ring, I became a fanatic, and all I wanted to do was improve every single stat that would show up on my Oura ring. It can get a little bit excessive, and at the same time, it can actually be a negative impact to your sleep. So make sure, if you're gonna buy any kind of tracker, create a little bit of separation. Use the data as helpful information, but do not obsess over it. Now, why did I want to track my sleep? Andrew Huberman with Matthew Walker on his podcast mentioned the best stress relief is sleep, best trauma release is sleep, best immune booster is sleep, best hormone augmentation, sleep, best emotional stabilizer, sleep. So don't sleep on this video. The very first day wearing this Oura ring is February 6th, 2019. Days from February 6, 2019 to today is 1,098. So haters in the comments. Now, one thing I've always struggled with is having fatigue and feeling tired throughout the day. There's so many factors that can be at play, and sleep is one of the foundational components. Buying the Oura ring, I started to understand how alcohol and many other metrics have a negative impact on my sleep, and thus can cause me to feel tired, fatigued throughout the day. Last weekend, I went to Colorado with my friends. We went skiing in the mountains at elevation. It was my friend's birthday, and obviously there are some spritz and it's a social atmosphere. And I think the combination of elevation plus alcohol plus lack of proper nutrients can cause you to feel fatigued. Now, if we go look at that information right there, you can see it says readiness, pay attention. So anytime I do engage in negative behavior, the Oura ring will essentially yell at me. It gives me all these red markers. The graphs are off the charts. They're inverted. The HRV is low. My heart rate is high. And when I see this data on this application that's red, it's like, no, stop, stop, stop. The numbers look off. Look at that readiness. Regain your sleep balance, rest mode, sleep, pay attention. When I open this app and I see this information, it can drive a bit of behavior change in a positive manner. So for me, I ideally try to drink a lot less alcohol now, because I know even if I might not feel extremely tired in the morning, my Oura stats are going to be extremely bad. Now, since this isn't a sponsored video, I can talk about other products, and one is the Whoop strap. I think they do a better job of screaming at you when you do activities like this. So for example, I had a 1% recovery, and that bright red is more glaring when you open up the app versus the Oura ring. It's going to show me some nice leaves and nature, and then give me a readiness of 25 out of 100. So essentially a 25%, which is an F on your sleep. But not only is it these negative behaviors that I'm able to see and the impact on my sleep, but it's also positive behaviors. So some things I started doing was taking magnesium before I go to bed. Not always, but sometimes I'll wear blue light blocking glasses a couple hours before bed. I have a weighted blanket now. My 8 Sleep Pod Pro cools my mattress before I go to bed. And use my code SHERVIN at 8 Sleep for $200 off for the most amazing water cooling mattress that I've ever experienced. I have 2 of them and I absolutely love them. I don't do these every night, but I started to experiment with mouth tape. I'll sometimes wear an eye mask to block out all of the light, or blackout curtains, which I technically don't have any right now. But having this data at hand, being able to see my heart rate, my HRV, my respiratory rate, my body temperature, allows me to experiment with these different things that you read online and say, hey, does it actually work for me or not? Because something that works for me might not work for you. And I can see that data real time, and I'm like a self-experiment scientist.
I'm something of a scientist myself.
I think Oura does a better job of packaging the data than the Apple Watch does, but Whoop is definitely the winner when it comes to packaging and creating a seamless process. Using all of these different behaviors, from not drinking alcohol, taking magnesium, I found I feel more energized throughout the day. And my Oura ring has helped guide me to do these positive behaviors more often than not. Now, not being tired isn't enough. I want to feel maximum focus. I want to have peak productivity. And from James Clear's book, Atomic Habits, there's this quote I really liked. It went something like this: every action you take is a vote for the person that you wish to become. And buying a sleep tracker, buying products that help improve your sleep, it's kind of like voting that I'm someone who cares about my sleep. And not one single sleep tracker or one pill of magnesium, whatever it is gonna transform how you sleep, but it's one step in the right direction. It's another vote for saying, hey, I care about my sleep. I wanna get better scores. I wanna sleep better. I wanna feel better when I wake up. So it's become part of my identity. And then the people who don't care about their sleep as much, I just don't hang out with as much anymore. Not feeling tired, improving focus, and lastly, minimizing illness. Now, this isn't perfect. My friend did have COVID, and the Oura ring didn't show any drastic changes, but I do feel like it is a slight amount of insurance in terms of if I'm getting ill or I'm drinking a lot of alcohol, my readiness score, my HRV, my heart rate, body temperature, and respiratory rate will drastically go in a direction that's not normal. So when I see that information, that data, I can comprehend and say, was it because of a behavior last night? Maybe I'm getting sick and I don't know yet. I know people have posted on Twitter about getting COVID and seeing it on their Oura or Whoop strap. And for me, it's just like this little liability. If I see that the numbers are off and I haven't engaged in behavior that I know will negatively impact my sleep, it says, hey, maybe I should start to increase my vitamin C and zinc. Maybe I should take actions that can help minimize the length of the illness as fast as possible. So in that regard, it's kind of like a luxury device that's detecting and helping minimize the length of my illnesses. It's not perfect, but it can be helpful. And I do love my Oura ring, but they don't provide an affiliate link, so check out my Whoop affiliate link down below. There are some cons, right? If you don't wear this Oura ring, if you don't charge it, then it becomes invaluable, right? It's just this light paperweight. I don't think it can even hold paper down. But one of the unique pieces of the Oura ring is that you wear it on your finger, whereas like with a wearable on your wrist or a bicep, it can be a little uncomfortable. I've found that if it's on my bicep and it's under my shirt, I almost never take it off. I'm the type of person who doesn't enjoy wearing rings all the time, so I constantly play with this. I spin it on the desk and I'll take it off and leave it places. Apple Watch, I prefer to take off constantly. I found something that I can keep on my arm. This charger actually slides on, and there's really more friction to take the device off than there is to keep it on. That's forced me to wear the Whoop strap on more nights than the Oura ring. Also, this data can be helpful, but after a certain time, once you understand how your behaviors impact your sleep, you might no longer need to wear the Oura ring every single night. There's a study, I think, where they found that people who measured their weight, not like on a daily basis, but every so often, once they started to notice that their weight was veering off, they would begin to change their behavior to focus on bringing their weight back to the number that they wanted. So that's the same thing I see with my sleep. It's not a goal of having perfect sleep every night, but it's about understanding what behaviors impact my sleep, and then overall making sure that most nights I have mostly good sleep. The data is helpful, but it's not 100% accurate. I think the sleep stages were like 50-60% accurate. HRV and heart rate were like 90% accurate. So take every single piece of information with a grain of salt. They did add a subscription fee, which absolutely doesn't make sense, and I know there's been a ton of hate all over online. I'm not a big fan of that because they haven't really added new features for the extra subscription fee. Shipping times are relatively fast. I actually have not ordered my Oura Ring 3 yet because there's absolutely no reason. They did add the active heart rate monitoring, but at the same time, all the software for the improved sleep tracking, the SpO2 measurements, that is not available. So the Oura Ring 3 is pretty much the same thing as the Oura Ring 2. What I would recommend is buy an Oura Ring 2 used on eBay, and keep in mind that this device, you need to make sure that you're treating the battery properly, because approximately after 2 to 3 years, the battery might not last more than 1 to 2 days, and you just have to charge it every single night. And then lastly, their customer support, I think they've been flooded with tickets because of their quote-unquote exemplary launch. So just be mindful that getting some communication from the customer support can be challenging. I've found reaching out to them on social media is a bit faster. After sleeping 1,000 nights with a sleep tracker and not having a girlfriend, I found improved focus, I'm not tired all the time, and I've minimized the length of my illnesses. If you're curious about other sleep trackers that I use, make sure to go watch my Whoop strap versus Apple Watch video linked down below.